Imagine sitting in a dark room, all alone. Outside the walls, you can hear the world turning all around you, and you desperately long to join in. You search frantically for a window, but there isn't one. You find a door, but it's locked and bolted. You try to break out, but you're not strong enough. You scream wildly for help, but your cries go unheard. In defeat, you sink into a corner, facing the reality that fate may leave you here to rot away in the cold, dark confines of this tiny prison. Sound like a horror story? It's actually the struggle faced by 1 in 4 Americans every day who are living with an untreated mental health disorder. Today I'd like to share with you what a mental health disorder is, why its treatment is as equally important as the treatment of a physical health disorder, and what you can do to help break the stigma. First, what is a mental health disorder? According to the National Institute of Health, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and also make our choices. It's important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence all the way through adulthood. There are many different reasons that mental health can become compromised, but when it does, we are at risk for developing a mental health disorder. Some of these disorders include phobias, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, depression ranging from mild to severe, bipolar disorder, mood disorder, personality disorder, and psychotic disorders including schizophrenia, among others. The WebMD website states that it is becoming clear through research that the 3 factors of mental health illness are biological, psychological, and environmental. Possible biological causes would include inherited abnormal gene traits, brain defect or traumatic brain injury, disruption in fetal brain development while in utero, infections such as streptococcus that cause brain damage, substance abuse, exposure to certain chemicals, or even poor nutrition. Psychological factors include childhood traumas such as physical, sexual, or emotional abuse, the loss of a parent, sibling, or even a close loved one, and also neglect. Our environment plays a huge role in our overall health and can contribute to the mental health disorders when we face certain life-changing events such as divorce, change in socioeconomic status, death, change in job or school, feelings of inadequacy, peer pressure, or even substance abuse by someone else in the home. Now that you know some of the mental disorders and what causes them, let's look at the importance of their treatment. Mental health and physical health go hand in hand. The human body is constantly working to obtain homeostasis, which is a perfect balance of all body systems. When one system begins to struggle, others will work harder in an effort to regain that homeostasis. The American Psychological Association website posted an article by Kirsten Weir in June of 2012, in which Dr. Insel claims that the only difference between mental illness and heart disease, diabetes, or any other chronic illness is that the organ of interest is the brain instead of the heart or the pancreas, but the same principles apply. It's well known that good physical health also promotes good mental health. An October 2013 Greatest.com article by Sophia Breen states that physical exercise causes the body to release increased amounts of the chemicals norepinephrine, which helps the brain's response to stress, as well as endorphins, which create a feeling of happiness or euphoria and helps alleviate depression and anxiety. It also improves self-esteem, sharpens memory, prevents cognitive decline, and helps control addictions. Mental health is often overlooked and not thought of to be as serious of an issue as a physical health illness. However, if left untreated, mental health disorders can actually lead to physical illnesses that cause death. The website mentalhealth.org claims that depression alone can increase the risk of death by heart disease by 67% and death by cancer by 50%. Now that you understand the importance of mental health, I'm going to ask for your help. Unfortunately, mental illness carries with it a stigma that has been passed down through the years. People are afraid of what they don't understand, and until recently, there has been little understanding of mental illnesses. Even though there has been a push for mental health awareness in the past few years, many people still choose to avoid the topic. This continued stigma prevents people who would benefit from treatment from seeking the help they need for fear of being labeled or discriminated against. Lindsay Holmes wrote an article late last year in the Huffington Post entitled, "What if people treated physical illness like they do mental illness?" The title says it all. but Miss Holmes collaborated with artist Robot Hugs, who made a comic strip to accompany her article. I've given you all a copy of that comic strip. It displays characters who are all suffering with physical ailments, while others are saying things that are generally said to those who suffer from mental illnesses. For example, a man with blood spurting out of his arm due to his hand being cut off, while his friend simply says, "You just need to change your frame of mind, then you'll feel better." This cartoon makes a very powerful statement, and one that we all need to keep in the forefront of our mind as we attempt to see mental illness as a real illness that requires and deserves treatment. So, what can you do to help? Speak up. Earlier this year, CNN.com posted an article by Sue Baker, director of Time for Change, that said, "Talking about mental health can make a big difference, and social contact is an extremely powerful approach in breaking down the taboo around this issue." Ms. Baker encourages people to start conversations and do little things for someone who you know is going through a difficult time. Knowledge is power, so education is the key to making a difference. We must begin to educate our children at a young age. They learn best by mimicking our actions and reactions, so be sure that you're giving them a good example to follow. Don't be afraid to discuss issues concerning mental health with them. That way they will grow up knowing that it is nothing to be ashamed of. A group of MAC nurses have recently started a campaign called Chatting for Children that aims to send mental health professionals into the local schools to educate the faculty on ways to recognize symptoms and discuss mental health issues with their students. Also, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and green is the official color representing mental health. The mental health providers in our area will be hosting a mental health awareness walk on May 30th at Engler Park in Farmington, and May 15th is the annual Kick the Stigma campaign. This campaign was started right here in St. Francis County, but has generated global attention. For more information on these events, go to the Kick the Stigma Facebook page. So in conclusion, there are many different mental health disorders with a wide variety of causes. In order for our body to maintain homeostasis, or perfect balance, mental illness must be treated with the same emphasis as physical illness. The more that people recognize that mental health disorders are a real illness, the quicker the stigma can be broken. With 1 in 4 Americans suffering from mental illness, we are all affected by it, either directly or indirectly. A nursing school teacher once explained it to us as that mental health is on a sliding scale that fluctuates back and forth for each of us on a daily basis. Some days we are more mentally healthy than others, but we're all susceptible to sliding to the wrong end of the scale at any given moment if faced with an unfortunate circumstance. Hopefully that never happens to you, but wouldn't you like to feel like it's okay to seek help if it does? So go out today and buy your green socks, and let's start kicking the stigma. Thank you. You push.